Hey guys, welcome to the locker room. I'm your host, Gregory Law, and these are my two partners with me today, Chris Penner and Tyler Croome.
How's it going, guys?
Doing well, doing well. How are you guys doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm pretty tired.
Welcome to the life. Living the life, living the dream.
I know, right?
All right, so we got a couple topics to talk with you guys today. Talking about the NHL's opening week and how they're doing. Colorado's new helmets, they're looking pretty spicy. What we like, what we don't like, and what we'd like to see moving forward. And of course, we got the fantasy to talk about today.
That sounds great. Honestly, I want to start with those Colorado helmets. They look like dog crap.
What? They don't look absolutely mint to you?
No, they don't. They look terrible.
Yeah,
What do you don't like them? What is it that you don't like about them?
They're they're light blue. Personally, I don't like light blue helmets in general. Some people, I understand the concept. Like, it's supposed to go blend in with the color of the shoulder, the blue on the shoulder of the jersey and stuff. But I think it just looks too tacky. And I really liked the burgundy helmets that they had last year, the dark burgundy.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm right with Tyler on that. It's the first look at it. I first seen it in the NHL 21, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Looks a little suspect. You got the blue helmets, you got the pants as well, are matching with that. They don't look the best for whatever reason. I liked what they had before. It more blended in, right? It looked more natural, so to speak. So I think it'll grow on me eventually. Obviously, I'm not an Avalanche fan, so I really don't care too much.
Yeah.
But on that topic, it'll probably grow on me, and I'll probably get used to it. But at the start, it's a little weird and it's a little off. So I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm sure I'll grow on it a little bit. But yeah,
No,
it takes that kind of accompaniment. What do they say? Takes time to grow on you. Yeah, fair enough.
I think, with the downgrade in helmet for the Avalanche, that now knocks their jersey down on the divisional rank. So you know what that means? That means that the Dallas Stars now have the best uniforms in the Central.
All right, listen here, buddy. I don't know about that one.
yeah, I don't. Are we talking about this Central Division? I guess I really doesn't really matter because I honestly think Chicago's got the best in the league, to be honest. So in terms of, I don't know, what's the word for it? As an original six team, and I think their jerseys are just overall really good. So
yeah, no, I was mainly joking, but no,
Chicago. No, I know, but I'm just saying. Yeah, I was looking at like which Central Division are we talking about? I'm like, damn, okay, Chicago's in both of them. So
why not?
I'm talking outside of the COVID league, but no, I really, I mean, as much as I don't like the Blackhawks as a team, just based on rivalry, but I love just how they've kept to the original look of those the logo and jersey and stuff, and it's kind of timeless. Same thing with Montreal Canadiens jerseys. You just can't go wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I think a lot more teams should have done that. I think there's a lot of teams who have altered their look, so to speak, and it's kind of made their jerseys look not as good. I think Vancouver was a team for me that I like their look with the skate and stuff, the black jerseys. I think those were the best thing going, and then they kind of switched, and it's all right, but I liked what they had going back then. So
I agree with that, definitely, for sure.
Well, when they brought back the skate for their reverse alternates last year, they looked so good. Like, I would not complain if the Canucks with this new age core just decided to go back to that skate look.
Yeah, it's clean for sure.
Absolutely.
What about this NHL opening week? How do you guys think this week went, functionality wise, games wise?
I'll let Chris take the lead on this one.
Yeah, I think it was different for sure. Obviously, not having the energy of the fans. Obviously, in the first week, obviously we're only 2 days in. Sorry, some teams have only played one, a couple of two. I know Vancouver, Edmonton, they've played a couple already.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's different. Watching the games in Edmonton, it feels like the same thing we've been watching for the last while. But watching the Calgary Winnipeg game, it looked weird. I'll tell you that. Yeah. So, but I'm impressed. I think there's a lot to look forward to. So yeah, Tyler, what are your thoughts so far?
I think the production value's been pretty good. Although I think we were talking about this yesterday, Chris. Not yesterday, the day before maybe, but the Rangers broadcast camera angle was terrible. Like
Awful.
I think you said it that you couldn't watch the game. It was just so bad. And then I was like, yeah, I can't either, because that was just ridiculous.
For those that don't know, what was the camera angle like, sort of thing?
It was moving a little too frequently, and I don't know if it was because it was maybe high up that the angle looked a little off, but it didn't flow very well at all with the play.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was bad. Like I was going on Twitter, I searched up MSG being the network for the Rangers, and I was looking through. I'm like, is anyone else seeing this? And sure as shit, yeah, everyone else is saying it too. And
yeah.
It feels like you're sitting in the nosebleed of the Madison Square Garden. Which, I mean, when you're watching it on TV, you're wanting like the front row seats, so to speak, like center ice and all that stuff. Where you're still at center ice, but it's way up higher. You feel like you're more in the back. And when the Islanders scored their first 2 quick goals, I'm like, it just didn't feel right because they had a power play. I believe it was Anders Lee had one of them, and I'm just like, oh, he scored there? Like, shit, I didn't. It was hard to tell until the puck was in the net. So
yeah. Well,
yeah, fair enough.
And it's kind of unfortunate too, because the NHL's like pretty much known for having excellent TV production, right? And
True.
so for having such a high standard to put that out there for fans, especially when you can't have fans in the building, right? Like all they can do is watch from home. It's just not acceptable. Like you can't have that at all.
yeah, there's a couple more tweaks they need to make out. That's one of them. I know with Sportsnet, I didn't get the Flames feed being in BC. I had the Winnipeg feed on the center ice, but I know the Flames broadcast, they were like a couple seconds delayed. So I'll play what happened, the shot on goal, save, and then Rick Ball's coming in and saying that like a second or two afterwards. So it's a little weird to get used to. So they'll have to fix that up.
Mm-hmm.
But with the broadcasting being away from the arena the game's being played in, I know MLB did a very good job of that. It flowed perfectly. Everything was on time. So I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out. Sportsnet, it's a state of the art fucking
definitely for sure.
broadcasting. So yeah, they'll be able to
I'm
figure it out.
This is all
something to work on.
I'm assuming this is all just going to be like a massive learning curve for everyone, as it is broadcasting teams, hockey teams, all of that alike.
Oh, definitely,
etc.
And I do think too, like maybe like the with the TV people in charge of running the broadcasts and running camera and stuff. I wonder if like they're taking the fans in the arena as an opportunity to just kind of play around with some new angles and methods and maybe iron out some kinks to before they can actually have fans back in the rink. Like I don't know if that's the thought behind it, but that was just kind of my theory anyway.
That's entirely fair. Good theory.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about how the teams played this week, or overall in general? It seemed like some of the teams were a little bit rusty. Other teams seemed like they were ready to roll, sort of thing.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure what to expect heading in, because I mean, yeah, some teams, like we talked about it before hopping on, the teams that missed the playoffs and missed the play-ins actually, they hadn't played for almost a full year. So there's going to be a bit of a rust factor there. But then, I mean, we see a team like Buffalo, they didn't make the play-ins at all. And they came out ready to go against Washington, who did end up in the play-ins. And then New Jersey, they were another team that missed. And they were playing Boston. And New Jersey didn't come ready to play to start that game compared to how Buffalo did. Although New Jersey did find their legs as the game went on, but ended up losing in the shootout. But that's all right. I mean, I picked Jack Hughes in my fantasy, and I was really hoping that he'd have a big night, and he didn't do too terrible. But yeah, so I mean, that kind of leads into the rust factor. But I was a little bit surprised with Buffalo's start of the gate, and I was a little disappointed with the way that New Jersey had
totally fair
against Boston. What about you, Chris?
Let's see it.
Yeah, I think once again, if you look at LA, they played Minnesota. LA wasn't one of the teams. They didn't look too bad against Minnesota. Minnesota obviously taking that one in overtime. Kirill Kaprizov had a big night. I know I'm jumping into fantasy a little earlier, but he was extremely good. So if you can somehow get him in your fantasy league, I would highly recommend, because he had, I think, 3 points, the overtime winner. Yeah. But overall the teams looked really good. I know there's a lot of teams who did inter-squad scrimmages to get kind of up to speed, make it as real as possible. So I think lots of the teams are ready to go, but I still think there is that rest factor too, without any preseason games, especially for some of the younger kids too. I know Niels Hoglander jumped right into his first NHL game with the Canucks without getting any preseason action. So it's a jump for sure, but I think the guys are going to adapt to it, and they're happy playing hockey right now. So
yeah, and I was pretty fascinated to see some of the players that had some pretty major injuries, and as a result ended up having down years last year. But the two I'm thinking of are Josh Anderson with Montreal this year and Brock Besser in Vancouver. Brock Besser was ready to go out of the gate. And so, having a lot of that time off, you can definitely see that he was able to work on his strength and conditioning and really build his shoulder back up to being able to withstand the pace of the NHL. But then we saw the same thing with Josh Anderson. They kind of did a segment on it on the broadcast, but he was working hard. He got that time off to work on his shoulder, and he goes and has 2 goals in his first game with the Montreal Canadiens. So that was really that was cool to see. And he's got some big money tied into a big term with Montreal Canadiens, so they can't afford to have him fall off the wagon again with that shoulder.
Yeah, no, he looked really good. I think for only going off one game, that contract that he signed was looking pretty nice against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they really couldn't handle him for the most part. So
yeah,
I think he's gonna be a force for the Canadiens as long as he stays healthy. Obviously, it's one game, so consistency is also key. But that's definitely a bright spot for the Canadiens for sure.
Well, and on the flip side there too, people are upset that they got him over for Max Domi. Well, Torts sat him for the final 10 minutes of the game yesterday. So we'll see how that plays out. But if you're a Habs fan, you got to be feeling pretty fly with how things are working out so far.
Yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, totally fair enough. So it seems like overall NHL is starting to look pretty good so far. They're having a little bit of kinks and issues and all that, but of course comes with everything when it comes to new things, new learning curves and all that sort of stuff you got to follow. But overall of that, seems like everyone's having a good time, and just glad that hockey's back on again.
Absolutely.
I think of course. No, Tyler for sure is probably like just dying inside. Oh yes, finally hockey.
Absolutely. That's exactly how it was. I threw my the Jamie Benn jersey that I got for Christmas on. I had my hockey gloves, just chilling out, watching on the projector in the living room. Glad to be back doing that for sure.
Hell yeah. Fair enough. I guess we'll move on to the next segment then we have for fantasy hockey. Chris, take us away.
Yeah, so obviously only 2 days in, but there was some bright spots for sure for a lot of players. The Philadelphia Flyers showed a lot. Nolan Patrick was back. He looked really good for the Philadelphia Flyers in his first game back, along with Eric Gustafsson, who was manning one of the power play units for Philly. So I think there's a couple of Philly players that may not be talked about a lot that played really well. Their first game, they get Pittsburgh again. I believe it's today. Yeah, it's today. They get them again. So we'll see if they can continue that along. Patrick Liney, he had a big night against Calgary. He had the overtime winner and a couple more points. So he looked really good. He looks like he's really fired up. I think not only his goal scoring, but his willingness to play for his teammates as well is another big thing with Liney that he may have been lacking a little bit in his first couple of seasons. So I would look for him to have a big year in the Canadian division. Tampa Bay, they look off and running so far. Obviously, it was only Chicago. They get them once again today. But I would expect a lot of Tampa players to come back and have a good year. Steven Stamkos coming back from injury is a guy I would really look out for. I feel like he might get back into form as to what he was before these kind of injuries happened. So I would expect Steven Stamkos to have a big year as well.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Anthony Shirelli this year?
Yeah, Shirelli. I think he'll get a lot of ice time with the Lightning for sure. I believe he notched a couple points in the 5-1 win against Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as he's getting power play time, which I believe he is on the second unit, penalty killer as well. So I think Anthony Shirelli could put up a decent amount of points, especially without Nikita Kucherov for right now. So obviously he's not a winger like Kucherov, but he's still going to get more ice time as a result of Kucherov being out till probably playoff time.
Awesome.
Totally fair. Yeah, no, I heard about this. We started our fantasy hockey team. Of course, I haven't quite joined it yet and all that sort of stuff, so I'll probably have to get my booty on there and have to compete with you guys there
Yeah, definitely.
and pull out the winning team.
And I still gotta get that set up. But now that we're talking fantasy, I mean, that's something we got to get going. If we can get this going up until, give it a week so we don't miss too many games, I think it's worth it. Also, for those listening, if you guys would like to join a fantasy league here over at Rink Masters, drop in a comment below, and then we'll with your email, and we'll send you an invite for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like good.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun.
But beware, Chris is a beast in fantasy, so.
Oh yeah.
You haven't even seen me yet. You don't even know what I'm capable of.
We already know that you need to do your homework, so clearly not that much.
I will throw this calculator at you, sir, through this monitor.
Oh no, I'm shaking in my skates.
Oh yeah.
All right, I think you got a quiz there for us, Greg.
I do have a quiz for you guys. If you guys want to open that up, and then we'll see what we got for. Or I guess I have it here open, and I'll shoot you guys the questions.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right.
See what the knowledge is like today.
The power. Knowledge is power.
I've been feeling a little bit slow today, so we'll
Tyler,
see what
that's
happens.
you every day, buddy. Don't worry about it.
That's a gross misconduct, sir.
All right, so here we go. Question 1. Who scored the very first goal in NHL history?
All right, I believe you have a multiple choice. So what are our
It is a
options?
multiple choice.
I was gonna say I have no
I was about to say if you guys know off the right of the bat, I won't even give you the questions. But we got Eddie Girard, Joe Malone, Dave Ritchie, and Harry Hyland.
I want to say Dave Ritchie. What do you think, Chris?
I'm going with D. Was
Harry Hyland?
Yeah, I'm going with him. Sounds like
All
a
right.
beauty.
So we got Dave Ritchie was an incorrect, or it was the correct answer, and Harry Hyland was the incorrect. But Montreal Wanderers defenseman Dave Ritchie scored the first goal in the National Hockey League history in the league's first game, 1 minute into the game, actually, to be exact.
Oh, wow.
Between the Wanderers and Toronto Arenas on December 19th, 1917. The Wanderers opened in the inaugural season with a 10-9 victory, but had to withdraw from the league a few weeks later when their home rink was destroyed in a fire.
Oh, my goodness.
Ritchie was selected by the Ottawa Senators, with whom he played for the remainder of the season.
That's pretty
All
sick.
right. Yeah. I don't know if the fire was very sick there, Croome.
No, it was definitely
Pretty
sick.
devastating. Pretty sure Montreal wasn't very happy about that one. But anyways, next one we got number 2. Who was the first NHL commissioner?
Oh, it's Gary Bettman.
Chris?
Is it multiple choice or is it?
It is multiple choice. Sorry. I thought you were going to agree with him or not. Sorry, my bad.
No,
we got Gary Bettman, Frank Calder, Mike Barnett, and Wayne Gretzky.
Well, it's not Wayne. I'll tell you that for free.
Oh, yeah. No, I think that's a pretty obvious one that it wasn't Wayne.
Is it Batman?
It's Bettman. I would put money on it.
Okay, who are B and C again, please?
Frank Calder and Mike Barnett.
Neither of those guys sound like commissioners, so yeah, I guess we'll go with Gary.
Gary Bettman is the correct answer. In fact, on December 11th, 1992, the National Hockey League governors named Gary Bettman as the first commissioner of the National Hockey League, replacing Gil Stein, who served as the NHL's final president.
Okay.
The owners hired Bettman with the mandate of selling the game in the U.S. market, ending labor unrest, and completing expansion plans, and modernizing the views of the old guard within the ownership ranks.
Yeah, which is why we're stuck with teams in Arizona and Florida.
Oof. Shots fired. All right, number 3. Who roared to the NHL stardom as the Golden Jet? We have Bobby Hall, Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr, and Wayne Gretzky.
Sorry, can you repeat the answers?
Bobby Hall, Gordie Howe, or Howie. It's probably Howe. Bobby Orr, and Wayne Gretzky.
I want to say it's Bobby Hall.
Chris, confirm?
And the question is, who was named the Golden?
Who roared to the NHL stardom as the Golden Jet?
Going Gordie Howe.
All right, Gordie Howe. Bobby Hall was the correct answer. And the Golden Jet of the Chicago Blackhawks won several scoring titles, 3 overall scoring championships, and the 2 most valuable player awards in the NHL in the 1960s. Then he signed with the Winnipeg Jets, giving him instant credibility to a new league and the World Hockey Association in the 1970s.
Nice.
All right, number 4. What was the first NHL team to win back-to-back Stanley Cup titles? We've got the Ottawa Senators, Montreal Canadiens, the New York Rangers, and the Vancouver Millionaires.
It's definitely not the Millionaires.
Canadians.
I want to say Senators because this is the 1921 Senators, I believe. I can't remember, but I want to say it's the Senators.
Senators was again correct because on April 4th, 1921, the Ottawa Senators defeated the Vancouver Millionaires 2-1 in the decisive 5th game of the 1921 Stanley Cup. Jack Duraw scored both goals for the Senators, who became the first NHL team to win back-to-back Stanley Cup titles.
I honestly wonder how many teams were in the league at that point. I can't remember. Like,
probably been a lot easier to go back-to-back when there's like half the amount of teams as there are now.
It's like the same argument for the Leafs and their cup success in the 60s. It's like...
All right, so Tyler's on a pretty good hot seat here with all these questions here. Chris, you got to keep up.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Number 5. What year was the offsides rule introduced by the NHL? 1950, 1970, 1990, or 1930?
I mean, that's a pretty important play in hockey, so you would think it would be implemented pretty early.
I would say it's
true.
Probably a safe bet to say 1930. That sounds about right.
I think I'm going 32 because, yeah, they got to implement it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Correct answer was, in fact, 1930.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, and at the NHL Governors meeting on September 27th, 1930, the new offsides rule was passed, stating that the puck must be propelled into the attacking zone before any player of the attacking side can enter that zone.
That makes sense. Because, yeah, I remember, like, I was seeing, like, some old school pics of, like, the NHL before that point, and they had, like, no lines. Could you imagine?
Probably not. It's just like, rink.
All the Hail Mary passes you could pull off, like, frick sakes. It wouldn't.
Yeah, goalie just yates it to the offenseman that's past the blue line.
Yikes! I mean, I would say if Martin Brodeur with his puck handling skills played in that era and they didn't have a blue line, I guarantee you he probably would have been the assist leader.
Love
the National Hockey League.
All right, number 6. The first NHL All-Star game was held in the benefit for what injured star? Howie Morenz, Silvio Mantha, Ace Bailey, or Eddie Shore?
Well, it's not Eddie Shore.
Yeah.
Get that man out of here. All right, so we're down to 3 then. If you guys are confirmed on that for Howie Morenz, Silvio Mantha, and Ace Bailey.
I don't know. I honestly have no idea on that one.
I know like Howie Morenz was a really good player, but the other 2 guys I've really never heard of. So
maybe him.
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go Howie Morenz here, but I think I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'll go with Chris here.
All right, we're going for Howie. That was incorrect.
What? Shit.
The correct answer was actually Ace Bailey.
I was gonna say that in the shot there, but I'm like,
On February 14th, 1934, the NHL held its first All-Star game as a benefit for the injured star Ace Bailey. Toronto defeated a team of All-Stars from the league's other 7 teams 7-3 at the Maple Leaf Gardens.
That's right. The Cup winner played the rest of the All-Stars. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7. Who was the fastest NHL player in history to reach 1,000 career points? It's probably an easy one. Mario Lemieux, Eddie Shore, Wayne Gretzky, or Guy Lafleur?
It's Wayne Gretzky.
No, what do you mean? It's Eddie Shore.
Oh, of course. Yeah. It's Eddie Shore.
No, yeah. Go with 99 there.
We're going
great one.
99 himself. Yes, that is in fact the correct answer because
that's the easiest question on this list.
Oh yeah, that's what I was like. I'm not quite the biggest hockey nerd myself compared to all of y'all here, but I'm trying my best here, of course. I looked at the question and was like, oh, it's Wayne Gretzky. Sure enough. But on December 19th, 1984, while playing just his 424th career game, Edmonton's Wayne Gretzky had 2 goals and 4 assists to become the fastest player in the NHL history to reach 1,000 career points, breaking Guy Lafleur's record of 720.
Yeah.
The Oilers won 7-3 over the visiting Los Angeles Kings.
Nice.
All right, number 8. What player was set an NHL record in 1976 with just 10 points in one game?
Daryl Sittler.
That's Sittler.
I don't even have to answer the other questions there. It's Daryl Sittler, in fact, indeed. Because on February 7th, 1976, Daryl himself set the NHL record with 10 points in one game on 6 goals and 4 assists.
Nice.
An 11-4 win over the Boston at Maple Leaf Gardens.
It's got the double hat trick.
The double hat trick indeed. It was the last game of Bruins goalie Dave Reese ever played in the NHL. Daryl coming out here ruining men's careers.
Oh my goodness. Just imagine like your last game.
That's your final note right there, man. Just getting destroyed by a man who puts in 6 goals and destroys your team 11-4. Yep, that's how I ended my career. Rage quit hockey. All right, number 9. Which NHL team once drafted a player that didn't exist? We have Pittsburgh Penguins, Atlanta Flames, the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Buffalo Sabres.
It's Buffalo.
That just sounds like something Buffalo would do.
Oh yeah, it's got to be Buffalo.
It's got to be Buffalo. Chris,
I'm going with the Atlanta Flames. The Atlanta Flames did some shit like that.
The correct answer, in fact, was Buffalo.
Yeah,
the biggest prank in NHL history occurred in 1974 when Buffalo Sabres GM Punch Imlach, that's what I'm going to go with, selected star center Taro Tsuchimoto of the Japanese or the Japan Ice Hockey League of the Tokyo Katanas. That's what it is, sorry. Kanadas. Yeah. Hello. In the 11th round of the NHL draft, actually. So that's it's a solid round pick. The NHL made the pick official, and it was reported by the media outlets, included the Hockey News. But Taro himself didn't exist. In fact, his team didn't even exist either. The Japanese Hockey League had no team representing in Tokyo at the time. GM man himself, Imlach, did not acknowledge the fake draft pick until just before the start of the training camp. The team even set up a stall for him and listed him in their training camp roster.
Oh my goodness.
Correct.
I think that's a good question to end on because it looks like we got less than a minute.
Oh,
that's pretty funny.